Welcome, this is Jennifer, and I'm glad you're here. Today I'm giving you a quick rundown of the newest release from Lawn Fawn. Lawn Fawn just blows me away with each release because they're so creative, especially their dyes, and this one is by far the best yet. Now there is a lot in this release, stamps, dyes, papers, and more. So I'm going to try to give you just a fast look at them all. Please go to the Lawn Fawn blog if you want a closer look at each product, and I'll try to use some in upcoming videos, but I just had to show you everything up close. So I'm going to start with the stamps, but be sure to stay tuned for the dyes because I am really impressed by many of them. Let's start with the Christmas Dreams stamp set. This has all the little images you need to create a scene in a home for the holidays. So you have the cat and the dog that you can have dreaming of a little fish or a bone, Christmas tree and fireplace. You could use this along with any other Lawn Fawn stamp set to create a little Christmas scene. So this is one of those good basic sets that works great with others. And as always, Lawn Fawn is really good about having coordinating die sets available that cut out pretty much every image in the stamp set. Next is one of my favorite of the newest release stamps. This is the Here We Go A Waddling. I think this is so clever. Some really cute little penguin images here and a lot of fun sentiments that go with it. So you can make a really unique holiday card with this. I think it'd be fun to put those little penguins on action wobblers so that they do a little bit of waddling, or you could make a slider card with this. I also like that there are little music notes that you can put around it so it looks like they're singing. The next stamp set is Winter Village, and this is a very well thought out stamp set. It's all the little houses or little buildings that could create a perfect winter village. They even have little stamps that you can stamp on top so it looks like there's snow on the roof. There are little words that kind of come out of the chimney, or there's little hearts. There are even stars and a moon to create a night scene. And look at this, there are even tiny little dots that you can white heat emboss on the trees to make it look like snow has settled on it. You can even put a star on top of the tree. They really thought everything out here. And later in this video, I'm going to show you some dies that would work great with this stamp set. Next up is the Beary Happy Holiday stamp set. I already have a card planned for this one. If you see at the top there, you've got a cute little bear who's ice skating, and you have the front image and the back image. So you can stamp, color, and die cut both out, and then glue them back to back with a string between them. Then you can suspend that string on the window on the front of a card, and it will spin when the person opens it. I will link to a spinner card video here so you can see what I'm talking about better. And there's a sentiment in the stamp set that says, "You make my heart spin," which will be perfect with that card. There are also lots of other images in the set that are great for creating a winter scene. Okay, so one of my favorite things about Lawn Fawn is that they offer smaller stamp sets and coordinating dies that are at a better price point. Here are three that I've included together in one pocket. The first is the Winter Otter, and you can have it so that the little otter is holding a candy cane or a heart, and there are some cute messages that go with that. There is also the Candy Corn stamp set. This one teams up nicely with a jar image that Lawn Fawn has released in the past. And I like that they do that so you can get more life out of stamp sets that you may already have. There is also the Pumpkin Spice stamp set. This is that tiny one on top. You can stamp a little smiley face on there, and you can add a little message that says, "You're the pumpkin spice in my latte." And then you could do maybe like a Starbucks gift card with it. So that would be great for the holidays too. And of course, they have coordinating dies available. Okay, next we have the Forest Feast, and this is like the ultimate scene builder stamp set. You've got like this little wood table here, and you can stamp and die cut all these little images to create what would look like a Thanksgiving table with the animals attending the dinner, and there's all different kinds of foods on it. This is a really creative one, and I know over on the Lawn Fawn blog they have some great examples with it, and there are lots of great sentiments on here too. So I'm really excited because my daughter is in kindergarten now, so I have a kid back in elementary school, and that means I get to make party favors for classes because I always volunteer to do that. I'm excited about this costume party stamp set because they are great Halloween images that aren't so scary. So I can use these for that. I really can't get enough of that little girl dressed up as a unicorn, and the fact that you can add different things into their hand and even put different faces on the pumpkin. There are also a bunch of different words on the bottom that you can mix and match to create a bunch of different messages. Next, we have the Celebration Countdown stamp set, and there are coordinating dies that go nicely with this. Now, this one you can use to do like an advent calendar for Christmas, or you can do like a happy 24th birthday with the balloon. So this is a good one to have so that you can really personalize cards or do some sort of celebration countdown. I know my daughter liked having something like that for kindergarten, and it's nice to have stamps that work for that. Next, we have the Planet Fitness stamp set. Now, if you're a planner person, this is great for you because you can stamp all your health-related images and words in your planner. But even if you don't like to stamp in your planner, you can use these cute images for cards. For example, one of my good friends has been exercising like crazy lately, and I'm really proud of her. So I plan to use these to make a card for her. Next, we have the Oh My Dear stamp set, and there are 2 die sets that work great with this. This is such a creative stamp set. You have the front and the back of a little deer and a little bear, and you can use these to either hang on a window in a card, or hang on the top of a card, or to make a bookmark. Here I stamped and die cut and colored a cute little bear. I have the front and the back. And I can either glue this on the top of a card so it looks like he's kind of hanging on there and you can see his back on the other side. Or you can die cut like a window on a card and have him hanging on that. Or you can make the most adorable little bookmarks or tags that you've ever seen. So there are these little add-on dies that you see there to the right, and they cut this piece that you see that is craft. And what you can do is stamp a little message on there, glue the bear to the front and the back of the bear to the back, and you have the cutest little tags and bookmarks. So I plan to do these for favors for my daughter's class once again, of course, and also you can make cute tags for holiday gifts too. So here I don't have a book in nearby. I don't have any books in my craft room. I'm not sure why. So pretend this is a book, and you can just tuck that little bookmark on the top of a page, and it can keep your place. You can keep that little circle on the top of the bear's head to tie a little string, or you can cut that off if you prefer. And of course, there is the deer also. There are lots of little messages in there to stamp on the front and the back too. Okay, so now it's time for the dies in this release, and I am really crazy about a lot of them. The first that I like is the mini wreath. This cuts this cute little wreath, and I cut it from green and light green cardstock and layered it. Then it cuts the world's tiniest little bow with a piece you can wrap around the center to make it look realistic. Then there are the little ends to the bow that you can glue underneath it. It also cuts the little berries for it too. I'll show you something later in this video where you can use this little wreath, but I think it is just the cutest little accent for the front of a simple card. And by the way, with a lot of these dies, I'm just kind of showing you how they work. I wish I had time to make a bunch of samples, but my kids are going back to school and it's just been crazy. I think you can all relate. So I just wanted to show you how they do go together. Next, we have the large wreath. This cuts a nice circle that you can use as a base to the wreath. It also can be used to create a window inside of the wreath. You also have the little pieces of greenery that you can cut and layer on top of each other. You have the little berries and a fantastic bow here. Let me show you how this bow is assembled. There are many ways to do it, but I find this to be the easiest. I put some strong adhesive on that little flap that sticks out, and then I fold one side of the bow in, and then I put another piece of adhesive on top of that, and I fold the other side of the bow in. So we're creating like the loops on the side of the bow. This gives it great dimension, and you could even stick a little piece of foam tape in there if you wanted to. Then I wrap that little flap around, and it creates what looks like a really realistic bow. Now there are 2 things that you can put with this, a little piece that creates the ribbons coming out the side, or you can use the ones with the ribbons kind of hanging down. And I like that both are included in the set. I think it'd be fun to die cut some of these pieces out of felt and create a window card with the stamped greeting in the center. You can also arrange those little evergreen pieces to kind of be like a little piece that kind of stretches across your card, maybe stamp a sentiment along the bottom. So you can really get a lot of life out of those dies. Next, we have the cute cobweb stamp set. So it has a big spider, a little spider, and the little spider web. Now, I want to do with this is put little fun eyes on that little spider. Then glue the cobweb onto the front of maybe like a little package of candy or something maybe healthier, I don't know, and the little spider along with a little greeting on it. And that's a really quick Halloween treat that you can give to someone. Now, speaking of treats, a while ago, the Lawn Fawn released the scalloped treat box. And this is a great die that I've used many, many times. Now, I wanted to show it to you again because they have in this release some add-on dies that work great with the treat box. So for the treat box, you need to cut 2 from the die, and you put these together very easily. So after you've folded along all the score lines, you need to put adhesive in 3 places: the flaps on both of the pieces and on the bottom of one of the die cuts. After you put all the adhesive down, you can remove the release paper and assemble it very easily. Now, I will link to a video that shows putting this together a bit better than I'm showing here because I just wanted to do this quickly since there's so much to share with you today. So I put the 2 bottoms together, and now I can fold up the sides and make sure that the adhesive connects all the sides together. And what you end up with is this great treat box. There are even slits in the side so that you can kind of fold the top in together and then put those ends into the slits, and it keeps it closed. So this is great for gifts or little treats. So in this release, Lawn Fawn has 2 add-on sets that work great with this treat box. The first is the Haunted House Treat Box add-on. It cuts all these little pieces that you see here. So you have a door, you have a little roof, there are a couple of bats, there are a couple of windows, some trees, and even a little ghost. So you can quickly die cut and decorate this little treat box to make it look like a Halloween treat. And there's even a cute little cat included. Now, along the same lines is the Winter House Treat Box add-on. This cuts the cutest little pieces and creates the cutest little house. There's a scalloped roof, a cute little door that opens, some windows, a couple different Christmas trees, a star, and even this cute little wreath that goes on the front of the door. Since these dies are so detailed, you can quickly cut them and glue them together and have a project completed in no time. Another of my favorite die sets from this release is the Stitched Ornaments die set. The reason I like this set so much is there's a lot included and it's so well thought out. So this die set cuts 3 different ornament sizes, along with the toppers for the ornaments, decorations that you can put on the ornaments or cut from the ornaments, and the little string and bow to hold the ornament from the top of your card. Now, there are other little elements that cut faux stitches also on these die cuts, which I think is really fun, in addition to just gluing things on it. I also wanted to show you that the dies that are used to cut out those ornaments have stitching on both sides of the cut line. So you end up with stitching on the ornament and on the negative space. So you can create a beautiful inlay card with this. I think this would be so beautiful with some heat embossing or maybe some foil or glitter papers. You could create such elegant cards. Next, we have the village border die. This creates a cute little village along with little elements to create dimensional trees. This would work nicely with the village stamp set that I showed you earlier. You can team these up together, and you can team this up with some dies that I'll show you later in this video too. Now, the birch tree dies are great for creating winter cards also. There are 3 trees that it cuts and a tiny little bird. You can use these vertically on a card, maybe across a shaker window to create a kind of wintry scene, or you can use them horizontally to make it look like a branch. I like dies that offer both, and I like that these are large enough to really fill in the space on the front of a card. I'm also crazy excited about the new door die set from Lawn Fawn. You just glue the frame onto the front of a card and you have a door that can be opened, and you could use this all year round and have little critters on the inside or outside. It also cuts the little door handles and the steps and a little rug to go in front of the door. Now you could use this along with the Push Here stamp set from Lawn Fawn that came out a little while ago, because there's an image in there that says Open Me, so you can stamp that next to the door so the person knows to open it. Now inside you could do some stamping. You could even cut a slit inside of the card and have a little gift card that kind of slides in, so when the person opens up the door they can have a gift card inside. And I'll do a card showing that very soon. You can also use that mini wreath that I showed you earlier in the video and put that on the front of the door so you can make this a Christmas card. So lots of things you can do with this door die, and I will definitely be sharing something soon. The Fall Tiny Tags die set has 4 dies that cut little tags with faux stitching details. So there is the fall set, and there's also the winter tiny tag set. I like that these can be used to create very quick tags, and you can also use some of the small little stamps from the Oh My Dear stamp set that I showed you earlier, like this little to from image. You can stamp that on these tags. I like that they fit on here also. Next up is the outside-in stitched scallop die sets. There's circle, square, and rectangle die sets in this style. This is the circle, and you can see all the different sizes it does. The biggest one fits nicely on the front of a card. It's about 4 inches wide. So this cuts a scallop circle with faux stitching on both sides of the scallop cut line. So you get stitching on the scallop circle itself and the negative space. So it adds a lot of detail to your card. Here is the square version. That biggest square is about 4.5 inches, so you can make a square card out of this if you wanted to. And then we have this scalloped rectangle die set. Now the biggest scalloped rectangle is 4.25 by 5.5, so you can also make a card out of that if you wanted to. And the one size down from that fits nicely on the front of a typical 4.25 by 5.5 inch note card. So I think these are a great way to add a lot of details to your card when you want to create something simple and not spend too much time. Next, we have the stitched wood grain background die. This cuts a piece of paper to 4.25 by 5.5, and it puts faux stitched little wood grain pattern into the paper. So you can just use it like a traditional die, or you can use it along with an embossing pad, which I wanted to show you, to create some more dimension. So I'm setting up my die cut machine as I would for an embossing folder, and I'm putting down an embossing pad. This is a great tool to have. Then I'm putting paper down on that, and then the faux stitched background on top of that. When I run this through my machine, instead of cutting the paper, it presses into the paper. So check it out. You get that wood grain look with lots of dimension to it. So you can use that both ways. And by the way, that background also looks great for like an ocean background if you use it sideways, or you can like cut little banks out of it to create a snow scene. Next, we have the stitched hillside backdrop portrait die set. Now this cuts that frame that you see there that fits nicely on the front of a card, and then lots of elements that you can tuck into the hillsides. So you can create a cute little winter scene. I like that Lawn Fawn offers these type of die sets because it's a great way to create a scene without spending too much time, since die cutting is faster than stamping. I will say that this goes nicely with the village border and the village stamp set, so you can use all of these together. Now along the same lines is the stitched hillside backdrop in a landscape, so you can make a sideways card or a horizontal card. And you can use this for non-holiday cards too. So this has cute little trees, little hearts that come up from the chimney, lots of cute images in here too. Next, we have some fun interactive die sets from Lawn Fawn. I always am a fan of their well thought out die sets like this. And the first one is the tiny gift box. It cuts this one piece, and all you have to do is put adhesive on the 4 little flaps and then fold everything up, and you quickly have the cutest little tiny gift box. Just one piece needed, so it takes no time at all. The die set also includes little accents that you can use to decorate the gift box, including a little bow to create one of those 3-dimensional looking bows. This would be great to create like a little countdown to Christmas or advent calendar, since these boxes assemble so quickly and they open very easily. But you can also include tiny little gifts inside. Now this next die is definitely a must-have. This is the gift card pop-up die, and this is a great way to include a gift card in any card that you create. All you have to do is die cut a piece and then just fold along the score lines. You'll then put strong adhesive along the 2 scalloped edges so that you can insert this into any card that you've already made. I do recommend using a very strong adhesive because you want this to stay put when you fold the card. Okay, so I'm removing the release paper from this, and I'm going to fold it and also open up my card. Pretend that's a completed card there. I'm going to fold this up, and then that little line there down the center between the scalloped edges, I'm going to line up with the crease line inside of my note card. So I'm looking from the sides and making sure it lines up. Then I'm going to press this down. Once I've pressed it down, I'm going to close up my card and press firmly. Then you can kind of reinforce that score line, and check this out. When you open it up, the little piece pops up, and there's a slit there to add a gift card. So I'm just going to take a little gift card to show you how it goes in there. And this is a great way to add a gift card to any card that you've completed. You can also add little stamped critters along that little flap that pops up, and you can decorate the inside with maybe hillsides or whatever you want. But it's a great way to make something that you've created even more special by including a gift card. Now here I showed you how to make it with a landscape card. However, I mostly make top folding note cards. So all you have to do is die cut a piece and cut about a scallop and a half off each edge. And then you have a piece that you can use in a top folding note card. Now I'm saving the best dies for last, and this is definitely one of them. This is so clever. This is the shadow box card die set. It has everything you need to create a little shadow box card, a card that pops open and you can see a scene inside. And I'll show you how this works. Now from that die that I just showed you, you cut two pieces. One will be the back and one will be the front. From the front, we're going to die cut a little window, and there are some different window options in the die set. I'm going to use the rectangle. I'm going to just tape that onto the front panel of one of the pieces and run it through my die cut machine. And now we have our little window. Now there are a few score lines on each of these pieces, and I'm just going to reinforce those with my bone folder. And that really helps in assembling it. And I'm going to do that to the back piece also. So now we need to glue these two together. This is super easy to do. You see this little flap here? I'm going to put adhesive along that little flap, and this will allow it to stick to the other. Again, I recommend using a very strong adhesive for this. These Be Creative tapes that has a release paper are perfect for it. So now I'm going to take the piece off of the window side. I'm going to just to expose that adhesive there, and I'm going to put it right up against the edge of the back. So what we're creating is a little box. So you can see how this will fold up, and we can put a scene inside. Before I fold it up and tape it there, I want to show you how to do the inside. There are two little hillside dies here, and all you have to do is fold back the little ends of it. There are score lines there, and put adhesive on those also. There are many ways that you can arrange this. This is pretty much the most basic way, and it just blows my mind. So now I can remove the release paper, and we're going to put this inside the box. And this is the easiest way that I found to do it. Right on that little rectangle area next to the window, right here, I'm going to line up with the bottom and adhere one of the flaps kind of towards the center. Then I'm going to do the same with the other hillside. So they're kind of sticking up right now, but they're sticking to that little back area. Now I'm going to lay them down flat, making sure that they line up with the line on the bottom of our little box that we're assembling. And now I'm going to close this flap. Remember, there's adhesive exposed on the edges of those hillsides. And now they're going to stick to the side. So watch, when I fold it up, those hillsides pop up. Now we can go ahead and remove this other piece of release paper and close the box up so that the window's on the front, and we have this incredible shadow box card. And when it's flat, it fits into a regular envelope. It flattens down to 5.5, so it fits into a regular envelope. And check this out, so cute. In the inside, you can glue any little critters that you want. You can use any of the images that I showed you today. You can make holiday things, non-holiday things. In the die set, there are little trees and little elements to make a little bird, but the sky is the limit with these. I'm going to link to a video that Kelly Marie from Lawn Fawn did, where she did a much slower paced version of this so that you can really follow along well, and it has some of the cutest examples you've ever seen. So I'll link to that here. I just wanted to quickly show you how this works here so that you know if it's something that you want to look into more. And last but not least, one of the greatest die sets of all time is the gift box die set. Now in this is a die that cuts this piece that you see here. You need to cut it twice. One piece will be the bottom of the box and one will be the top. And this will create a great gift box that could be used to hold a set of note cards to give as a gift, which I do all the time. Now this piece here is going to be the top of the box. On the top of the box, you need to cut these little flaps off the side that you see here. This will allow the top of the box to end up being a little bit bigger than the bottom so that it fits on. Now also on the top, I'm going to tape these tiny little half circle dies onto the side, and this will cut little places where you can hold your fingers to pull the top and the bottom apart. You could also instead use a little circle punch to create little half circles on the edges too. So that's the top of the box. We have that ready. I'm going to set that aside, and next we're going to put together the bottom of the box. Now the bottom of the box is super easy. All you have to do is put adhesive on those little flaps and then fold all the sides up, and you have the perfect little box in no time at all. You could skip the top of the box and maybe just put a ribbon around this and just have the cards sitting inside if you wanted to. But I like that I have the option to create the top also. So now that we've done the bottom, let's go back to the top. Now we need to make the top so it's slightly bigger, and Lawn Fawn made this very easy. In the die set is a die that creates these little corners, and you need to create 4 of them. Now you score them, or they're scored down the middle, so you just fold them down the middle. And on the back, you're going to put adhesive. And then these just fit on the outside of each corner to hold them together. This results in the top being just a hair bigger than the bottom box, even though we use the same die to create both pieces. We also end up with these cute little decorative corners. So it's kind of a double win here. I really like how Lawn Fawn thought this all out so that it comes together nicely. So here you can see how the box top fits nicely onto the box bottom, slides on like butter, and fits nicely. Now in the die set are some other little elements to decorate this, one being a little bow that you can put on the box. So here is the little bow assembled. It has faux stitching on it. And then there is also a piece to create a wrap to go around the box so you can slide it on and off. To do this, you cut 2 pieces from the die and fold along the score lines. Then you're going to put adhesive on one of the ends so that when the 2 pieces wrap around the box, they connect. So here I'm going to fold one around the box. This has the adhesive on it. Fold the other around it and press that adhesive together so that the 2 ends meet. And now we have the perfect piece to wrap around the box. So now I can put the lid on, wrap the piece around it, and then use the bow to connect the 2 ends. So we have this nice finished looking piece to go around the box. So you can give it to the recipient with the bow on there, and then all they have to do is slide it off to get to the cards inside or whatever present you want to put on the inside. Wanted to show you how the 4-bar sized cards and envelopes fit so nicely in there. 4-bar is another popular size. It's just slightly smaller. Again, it's 3.5 by 5.5. So you can put a few in there. You could even put some postage and even a small pen. The die set also includes some greetings that you can use to decorate the box, and I can't wait to make some card sets using this gift box die set. Now, in addition to their stamps and dies, Lawn Fawn has a bunch of different accessories. They create the most beautiful 6x6 and 12x12 pattern papers. I prefer the 6x6 since I like the smaller print that works great for card making. And here are the different paper pads that they have. You can see I've already put some of these to good use and even shared some with friends. This is all wood grain in here, so some beautiful tone-on-tone wood grains, and then a great set of plaids for using for cards throughout the year. Now, Lawn Fawn also has some of my favorite dye ink that's available, and I have the full ink pads. Well, now they also have the ink cubes, and these are 4 new ink cube sets, and the ink in the cubes is the same as the ink in the full ink pads. So this is just a money saver. So it's nice to have the cube options too. Now, Lawn Fawn also has 2 different kinds of glitters. There's the fine prisma glitter on the left and a chunky glitter on the right, and I am crazy about this chunky glitter. It catches the light so beautifully and would be fun inside a shaker card or just sprinkled along a card with some liquid adhesive. So there you have it, a look at this huge new Lawn Fawn release. I'm out of breath. Sorry it's so long and that I squeezed so much in so fast, but I wanted to show you everything. So if you're interested in any of these products, I link them below in my YouTube description. In the middle are some interactive card videos that might be of interest to you. Be sure to go to my blog for a giveaway and more information. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.